Question കൊണ്ട് എടുത്തു തരാവോ?
8 years ago, a crime shook Kerala.
Sexual assault case, actress abduction and sexual assault.
The assault exposed power, silence, and complicity. The survivor fought back, refusing to be silenced. This is a case that revealed the ugly truths of the Malayalam film industry. And now, after years of legal battles, the verdict is finally here. At the News Minute, we have been tracking the story closely from the very first day. Not just the crime, not just the trial, but everything that followed and everything that led to it. Industry response, power struggles, shifting narrative. Voices that stood up and the ones that stayed silent. This case isn't just about one verdict. It's about justice, accountability, and change.
And that's why we are bringing you in-depth, responsible, and sensitive coverage. Coverage that I promise you will find nowhere else. Journalism like this needs your support. So do become a subscriber of the News Minute today.
Hello and welcome to a very special News Minute broadcast. Today marks a very, very crucial moment in one of the most important legal cases that we've seen in the recent past, something that not just Kerala but the entire country has been following quite closely. As the Ernakulam District and Sessions Court will deliver its verdict in the actor assault case in which another fellow actor, a very popular Malayalam actor, Dileep, has been accused of conspiracy in orchestrating this entire sexual assault. We have reporters spread across Kerala. We will be bringing you live updates and also kind of break down what the verdict will be. But to give you a picture of what you can expect, I'm being joined by our editor-in-chief, Dhanya Rajendran, who's also in Kochi, our Kochi studio. Dhanya, over to you. What can we expect? When is the verdict expected now?
The verdict from the District Sessions Court will come at 11 a.m. Pooja. I'm going to first give you all the updates. Joining me in the studio is also Maria Teresa Raju. We have Sukanya Shaji, Didhi Suresh, Harita Manav, and Nitesh, 4 of them stationed in the Sessions Court. We also have our colleagues Azifa Fatima, Harita John, and Lakshmi Priya, who are joining us from Kochi itself. So quickly to tell you what's happening, Judge Hani Varghese will be giving this verdict in a short while. In exactly 16 minutes from now, the court will commence, the court proceedings will commence. All the accused, the 10 accused in the case, have reached the court, including the prime accused in the case, a petty criminal called Pulsar Suni, who is the man who did the sexual assault. We saw Manikandan, who is accused number 2, also reach the court. The other accused include, of course, accused number 8, which is actor Dileep. In fact, all eyes really are on what will happen to Dileep. Will Dileep get convicted or acquitted? Because more or less, it's a given that the other men who were part of the kidnapping and the sexual assault would be convicted in the case. But the big question before everybody is whether Dileep will get convicted. I'm going to go across to Maria now to just get a sense of, to our audiences who are joining from different parts, if you've not been following the case very closely, Maria, tell us who are the 10 accused in this case quickly.
So I'll list out the 10 accused. The first accused, as we know, is Pulsar Suni, who conducted the sexual assault in the abduction. The second accused is Martin Anthony, who was the survivor's driver and who was also part of the conspiracy in the abduction and assault. Then there's Manikandan. Accused number 4 is Vijesh. Accused number 5 is Salim. Accused number 6 is Pradeep. All 6 of them were there at the in the car or in the vehicle that was following the car when the actual crime happened. Then there's accused number 7, Charlie, who helped Pulsar Suni and his accomplices hide in Coimbatore immediately after the crime before they surrendered to the police. Accused number 8 is actor Dileep, who is accused of orchestrating and masterminding the whole crime. Then there's accused number 9, Sanil Kumar, who's also known as Mestri Sanil, who helped accused number 1, Pulsar Suni, hide a phone inside the jail when Suni was in jail. Then there's accused number 10, who's Sharath. Sharath is a close friend of Dileep, who the whistleblower Balachandra Kumar said brought the visuals to Dileep's house after Dileep was released on bail. And it was this it was these visuals that Sharad brought that had the audio enhanced, and it was those visuals that Dilip and the others allegedly watched at their home in Alua.
So I can just tell you that the word from the film industry, I'm going to go across to Azifa and Harita. So let's have them in the frame now. So the word from the industry is that Dilip is pretty confident of what is going to happen. So I'm going to go across to Azifa to ask Azifa, we know that one of Dilip's movies is going to release very soon, but the word in the industry is that he seems pretty confident. He's been telling people that he will be acquitted in the case.
It's like set to release in December 18, right? And then his new film D, which is named D152, has also come in. So he seems pretty confident that he's going to be acquitted somehow, and that is also the wide word in the case.
So that's also because Maria, Azif, I'll come to you only. That's also because proving conspiracy is a very difficult deal in Indian courts, right? We have seen in
Yes.
case after case that conspiracy hardly gets proved. And here too, in fact, today morning we have put up a story which my colleague Lakshmi Priya did. I want all of you to understand that we have many special stories we have done over the last week, and we have many more lined up today, including a really important interview which we will publish only after the verdict comes. But in that story, Lakshmi has clearly put out what is the final argument note in this case. What is the prosecution saying is the case against Dilip. Now, the case against Dilip is that he had a particular motive to attack the survivor. What was the motive? Can you put Maria also on the frame, Bhuvan? So the motive was that Dilip was married to actor Manju Warrior. At that time in 2012, he was also having an affair with another actor, Kavya Madhavan. Maria, can you take it from there?
Sure. So it all allegedly starts from when Manju Warrior discovers this extramarital relationship that Dilip had with Kavya Madhavan. She allegedly knew about the relationship but did not have any confirmation. So the survivor, who was a friend of actor Samyukta and Geetu Mohandas, she confirmed to Kavya that
she confirmed to Manju, yeah.
She confirmed to Manju that that Kavya and Dilip were in an extramarital relationship, and the survivor that day itself, she had told Dilip that she had confirmed it to Manju. She had spoken to Manju. So this Dilip believes that Manju Warrior, his first wife, got to know about his extramarital affair through the survivor, and which is why and that is the reason for his marriage, his divorce happening.
So one very important thing which the prosecution says in that is that when Manju Warrior comes to court, she says Dilip was under the impression that it was because of survivor that I got to know about the extramarital affair, but that was not true. I knew before itself because I had discovered their messages. So that's the motive which the prosecution has put forward. There is Manju Warrior who spoke in court. There is Geetu Mohandas. There is Renju Renjimar. These are three people who have talked to the court about how Dilip was really angry at the survivor, that she is the one who basically told his wife about his extramarital affair. Now, when the motive is in place, the next thing is to prove that he was indeed the person who hatched out the conspiracy and that he was the one who contracted Pulsar Suni, who's a petty criminal. So what is the evidence the prosecution has put forward? They have places of meetings where Dilip is supposed to have met Pulsar Suni. These are actually 4 cinema shootings. I think one of them is in a stadium. Now, the prosecution said that these are all places where people working in industry come. And Pulsar Suni was the driver for actor Mukesh, who's now a CPIM MLA. And he was bound to be in these sets. There is nothing extraordinary about it. So therefore, it was not enough for the prosecution that they could prove that Dilip and Suni were at the same place at the same time, at least at 4 different locations. There is nobody who could say that Suni and Dilip were seen together. Then came that very important witness called Balachandra Kumar, who is the only person who has told the court that, yes, I have seen them together. Suni was at Dilip's house. At one point, I have been in the same car with Suni and Dilip's brother. It's an important witness. So if the court today acquits Dilip, then what are they going to do with Balachandra Kumar's statement? Then that means the court will have to discard the entire statement given by Balachandra Kumar. Azifa, I'll come to you. Like I was asking you, proving conspiracy itself is very difficult in Indian courts, right? We have seen that in example after example.
So in Indian courts, like when we have to prove a conspiracy, it should be proved through chain of things, chain of events, and it should be irrefutable in each part. So each chain should seamlessly connect to the next chain, and then it should also be proven beyond any doubt. So in this case, the prosecution has used several proofs, right, like photographs, CDRs, and tower locations and everything. The only point is, does the court accept it to be irrefutable and clear connection or not? That is how this case is going to be decided. And in case after case, we've seen that proving the chain has become a problem for the prosecution because of it's all conspiracy is in itself, it's a nature in which it is done in secrecy, right? So it becomes a difficult thing for the prosecution as well to put it together. But in this case, the prosecution does have some proofs in the form of multiple digital evidence, and we have to wait for the court to see.
So I'll come to Harita next and ask her about the controversies regarding the judge itself. But quickly, if I can bring you in again, Maria. Palsa Suni, the prime accused in this case, went to court and said that he was not in that car, that he did not kidnap the survivor, but he has not said no to everything. For example, he said that I was aware there was a conspiracy to abduct the woman, right?
He's also said that he was he knew the Dilip. So that's just one thing the actor's defense is actively denying, that the actor did not know Palsasuni at all. But Palsasuni, as his lawyer told us yesterday, told our reporter yesterday, Palsasuni knew Dilip is also something that they have confirmed. So yes, the first accused is denying having ever been present in the car where the assault happened. But there are other things that he has not denied. He has also not denied many things that were discovered that were found that happened in the jail, like him allegedly trying to contact people outside. Yeah.
So basically, in court, Palsa Suni has denied that he was the man behind the sexual assault. He has said he has not gotten into the car itself, but he has not denied everything. He did tell the court that he was aware there was a conspiracy against this actor. And remember, Palsa Suni is a goon on hire. This is not the first time that he's doing this. He has kidnapped another actor. Her name is Menaka. He has kidnapped her many years ago. This is something that is very well known. In the survivor's case itself, there was a previous attempt to kidnap and sexually assault her when she was in Goa for a shoot. At that time, it is just because of a sheer luck. There was another person who was there inside the car, and so the plan could not be hatched out. I'll quickly go to Harita now, because Harita has done a story which we will publish today about Judge Hani Varghese. The judge has been extremely controversial as the judgment comes. Now, whichever way the judgment goes, we have to keep this in mind, that this is perhaps the first time in history that a survivor has gone multiple times to court, around 4 times to the High Court and to the Supreme Court, saying the judge is extremely biased. Harita, if you can hear me, can you take us through the different petitions that the survivor and the state of Kerala filed saying that Hani Varghese is a biased judge? Okay, I think Harita is not able to hear us. Okay, so I'll just explain this. Initially, the prosecutor of this case was SPP, Special Public Prosecutor Sureshan. He quit after a few months, saying that he cannot continue with this case. Now, this is something that we have not reported previously much before, but we can do that now as a trial is done. In one particular heated moment in the court, the judge actually told the prosecution, this is not prosecution, but this is prostitution. That is when Sureshan, the first SPP in this case, quit. He wrote a very strong letter to the Kerala High Court saying that there is no way justice will be done if the judge continues. The survivor also petitioned. Maria, I'm going to come to you also for this. And then the next prosecutor comes. He was a former CBI advocate. He was a retired advocate, Anil Kumar. He becomes a public prosecutor. He too then quit, saying the judge is very biased and he cannot continue. The third prosecutor in this case was Ajay Kumar. He continued, of course, he made the final arguments. But between all this, multiple times the survivor has gone to court. I'm going to give you quick updates from the court itself. Everybody is inside the court now. We are hearing that all the accused are now inside the court. Vijesh has also reached the court. Palsa Suni is inside the court. Dilip was in his counsel, Raman Pillai's chamber. Maria has done a profile of Raman Pillai. We'll quickly, we have 2 minutes left, Maria. Tell us how crucial is Raman Pillai in this case.
So Ramappala is not a name that became popular just with the Dilip case. He has handled multiple cases that with high-profile cases in Kerala, including the Bishop Franco case where he allegedly raped a nun. There's also the Father Robin case where he allegedly raped a minor. So Ramappala is a big name that way in the Kerala criminal law scene because he has represented a lot of high-profile criminals that way. In this case, Ramappala, he's known for his very long cross-examinations, and we have heard through sources in the investigation team and people who've been in court that most of his strategy in court was to exploit the psychological vulnerabilities of his witnesses, like long drawn out crosses, multiple questions asked repeatedly until the witness broke, or even slut shaming of the survivor or anybody else who was deposing in court. So yeah, Ramappala is a controversial figure that way, but also he has represented multiple high profile criminals across Kerala.
Yeah, if for those who are unaware, please do read the profile which Maria will publish. Raman Pillai is the same lawyer who represented Bishop Franco, was accused of rape, got him acquitted. Raman Pillai is the same lawyer who represented Nisham. Remember the businessman who killed his watchman by ramming the Hummer on him? That's the lawyer who was with Dilip. We'll also have a story about how the main investigator of this case, which is Baiju Paulos, was questioned for almost 100 days in the court. The survivor was cross-examined for around 10 to 15 days. Palsasuni almost for the same amount of time, but it was the investigator who was being projected as the villain in the case, Baiju Paulos. I can now go to Harita again to just ask her about the judge once more, if Harita can hear me. Harita, as the judgment is just 2 minutes away, quickly take us through what the survivor has been saying about the judge in her petitions to the court.
So it was the survivor first who sought a woman judge to hear her case initially, and that is how the High Court is allowing her a woman judge. And later, she approached 6 times, multiple times, seeking the transfer of judge, and she wanted the removal, from her court, but it was not granted by the court because the victim, the survivor,
No, I think Harita's mic is not working. Anyways, we'll now also go across to Lakshmi Priya. Lakshmi, if you can also join us. The verdict is going to come in 1 more minute. Pooja, you can come back on screen. Remember, if there is an acquittal today of Dilip, then we'll have to wait for the copy of the judgment to understand what is it that the judge is using to, what is it the judge is saying to acquit Dilip. Now, in case if everybody is convicted, then again, it's more straightforward. But if it's an acquittal, it will take us some more time to really analyze the judgment and think of, how to respond to it. Yesterday, we had done an interview of Pratish Kurup, who's a lawyer of Palsasuni. He clearly told us that his client's stand is that he was not even in the car. Now, imagine through this trial, though it's an in-camera trial, in-camera trials are done so that survivors feel safe. What has also happened through this in-camera trial is that the slut shaming of the survivor has happened. Lakshmi Priya is now joining me. Lakshmi Priya, you have written edited copies where we have spoken at length about the slut shaming of the survivor itself in court, right? Okay, so the judge has taken seat now. We will be hearing about the verdict anytime soon. But yeah, Lakshmi, go on.
Yes. The survivor has spoken extensively about this. She has told us that there were multiple times when she broke down in court because of the invasive questions that she has had to face from the defense side, as well as from the judge, unfortunately, where she has been asked very leading provocative questions, including whether the act that unfolded was consensual, etc. And they were,
Okay, I have to interrupt you there, Lakshmi. We are getting fast updates from the court. Judge Hani Varghese has taken seat. It's a very crowded court out there. A lot of people, lawyers, curious lawyers, journalists, everybody's in court. So since the court is crowded, the judge has asked all the accused to make way to the front so that she can see them clearly. The judgment will be pronounced anytime soon. Remember, there are 10 accused in this case. Maria had read out on who these accused are, but all eyes really are on accused number 8, which is Dilip. There are in fact 3 different charge sheets in this case. The first charge sheet was filed when there was no talk of a conspiracy. It was simply said that these people did this crime so that they could blackmail the survivor later. The second charge sheet talked about a conspiracy where Dilip gets added. Then there is a third one because a new FIR is registered against Dilip and the others because there was enough investigative material to prove that Dilip perhaps was deleting evidence which was crucial in the case, and that he had been plotting to harm the police officers who were investigating the case. So there are lots of at least 2 charge sheets in this case and 2 or 3 FIRs. There are multiple options. Okay, 1 to 6 accused have been found guilty. This is the update that we are getting from the court, Lakshmi. Pooja, if you can hear me, 1 to 6 accused have been found guilty. The first accused in the case is Pulsar Suni, of course, and Pulsar Suni has been found guilty. We are waiting to see more updates.
While we wait for updates, if we could just keep continuing with what each of them are, their names. We have some of them here. First accused, of course, is Pulsar Suni. The second accused is Martin Anthony. The third accused is Manikantan. And the fourth accused is Vijesh. LP, Lakshmi Priya, if you can hear me, if we could quickly get details on what they have been accused of.
The first 6 people are the ones who had kidnapped, including driver Martin and Pulsar Suni. These 6 people were there and they were part of the kidnap. It was Suni, of course, who did the sexual assault. All 6 of them have been found guilty. We are, of course, waiting for what happens to...
Driver Martin was the survivor's driver, for context.
Yeah, driver Martin was a survivor's driver. She was not working for the survivor, but he was hired by the studio that she was working for. We are waiting to see what the judge... Suni is guilty. Pulsar Suni is guilty of 354B is what the court has said. That's the first accused number 1. 354B is criminalized assaulting or using criminal force on a woman with the intent to disrobe her. That is punishable only for 3 to 7 years. That's the first count on which he is found guilty. So first 6 accused, Pulsar Suni, who is the man who did the sexual assault, Martin Anthony, who was a driver, R. Manigandan, who was in the car with Suni, VP Vijesh, H. Salim, and Pradeep, who were there along with Pulsar Suni to kidnap, have all been found guilty. But this really is not what should I say? This is not a surprise because this is a judgment that we had, of course, expected. 354B is what Sukanya is sending us an update. I don't know if he has been convicted in more sections, but if it is 354B, then that is imprisonment of 3 to 7 years. Let's remember that Suni has already done 8 years in jail. We don't know if more sections will come. We're waiting for the judge to read out. I'm sure more sections will come in that. And of course, the big question. Okay, so. Okay, we are also hearing from the court that only 1 to 6 have been found guilty in this case, which means accused number 8, Dilip, has been acquitted is what we are being told from the court. We're just going to wait for more updates. Actor Dilip has been acquitted in the Kerala sexual assault case is what is the update coming from court.
Wait for more updates. Dhanya will bring you more people who are joining us from across Kerala. But just to give you an understanding of what we have learned, people who are accused of the actual act of sexual assault and kidnapping have been convicted. The first 6 accused 1 to accused 6, have been convicted. And the 8th accused, that is actor Dilip, has been acquitted. This is big news. And if you remember, he was accused of conspiracy and he was accused of orchestrating this entire sexual assault and also giving a contract to Pulsar Suni to sexually assault an actor. We are getting Dhanya back on the screen. She will break this down. Like she said earlier, we will have to wait for the detailed, the judgment copy to understand what were the reasons behind this acquittal. Bhuvan, if you could have Dhanya back on the screen. Dhanya, tell us what this means as we wait for more updates.
Well, Pooja, after so many years of trial, the judge has found that Dilip is not guilty. We do not know what the reasons are for Judge Hani Varghese to acquit Dilip. We will know that only when the judgment comes. But of course, the first question which strikes my mind is that if Dilip is acquitted and if the judgment tells you nothing about the conspiracy, then who was behind the conspiracy to assault the actor? I had spoken to her 2 days ago. This is not something that she was clearly hoping for, wishing for, and they've made it very clear that they will go to the High Court, they will go to the Supreme Court. Now, what we are hearing from the court is that accused number 9 is not guilty, accused number 7 is not guilty, and accused number 8 is not guilty. Please put back Lakshmi also. Lakshmi will tell you about 7 and 9. But the focus really is on Dilip here. Dilip has been acquitted. There's not a time for us to really react emotionally to that. All that will happen once we get the judgment. Like, for example, when the Bishop Franco judgment came, it is only after reading that in detail that we understood the excuses the judge used at that time to get Franco out, which is why that judgment was ripped apart. But here the case is way more difficult. It is a case of conspiracy. And as we have been saying, conspiracy is very difficult to prove. Here the judge is saying that the element of conspiracy has not been proved. Only those directly involved in the crime who were at the site of the crime itself have been punished. No one else, not the man who gave an award to Suni, right, Lakshmi?
Yes.
Who are the other two accused?
The other two accused are... Am I muted?
No. Speak.
The other two accused, the accused number 7, who's Charlie. He had been accused of helping Suni hide in Coimbatore, and he has been accused. He has been acquitted now. The accused number 9 was Mestri Sanal Kumaran, who was a former jailmate of Suni's, who was accused of helping Suni, get access to a phone to contact Dilip, etc. And for helping him charge the phone, etc., was the charges against him. Both of them have been accused. Both of them have been acquitted, as well as Dilip, of course, because there is no direct involvement. That is apparently the case.
So we have been told from the court that when the acquittal came, Dilip just almost said, thank God. That was his reaction in the court. Of course, this comes as a huge setback for the prosecution, for the police, who have tried for years to really work against this very powerful system. We have seen 28 witnesses going hostile in the case. A few days ago, we had put this list out. This list included people from the Malayalam film industry, others who clearly knew that there was anger festering between Dilip and the survivor, but they went to court and they turned hostile. This was a case where the prosecution and the police had to not just battle the hostile witnesses, a system that was against them, but even the judge itself. Let us not forget that the judge has been accused multiple times of being biased, and even if there is no conspiracy that is proven, like the prosecution's case, as we have also been saying, has been weak on 2 or 3 counts. One is that the phone in which the visuals were recorded have never been recovered. The second is of course the money trail, right?
Yes.
The money trail could not probably be proven properly. Lakshmi, want to take on that?
Yes. Apart from an amount of 1 lakh, which apparently is said to have been removed from Dilip's Grand Productions company account in 2017, I think, and which appeared in Suni's mother's account a day later. This is just about the only proper account of financial trail that the prosecution could establish. Nothing else. The alleged 1.5 crore that was supposed to be transferred to Suni, etc., was not something that they could, establish in the case.
And of course, the third thing, so one is, of course, the phone was never retrieved by the police. The second is that the money trail between Suni and Dilip could never be solidified. The third, like we said during the beginning of this live, the fact that Suni and Dilip were meeting has been established through a couple of witnesses who saw them in certain public places, at certain movie sets, etc. But beyond that, Balachandra Kumar was the only witness who said that he had seen Suni and Dilip together at Dilip's house. I'm very curious to know how Judge Hani Varghese has written off Balachandra Kumar's evidence, because that she could have done using a technical ground again, which is that the Samsung, so most of Balachandra Kumar's evidence was basically audios that he had recorded from Dileep's house. This he recorded on a Samsung tab, and that tab was no longer with him. In fact, even when I interviewed him, I had asked him this, he said, I don't have that tab anymore. So in the Indian Evidence Act, it's very clear that if a technical evidence has to be taken into consideration, the original device in which the recording is done has to be there. So that has not been found. I wanted to ask if Suni has been found guilty under more sections. We only heard about 354B. Okay, we are hearing that 1 to 6 have been punished under 342, 354, 364B. Okay, so that means that Suni has been punished under many sections of the IPC, including for rape. Let us see what is the punishment that the judge gives. But from Section 344 of the IPC has imprisonment for 1 to 5 years. Section 354B, as I said, has imprisonment for 7 years. Then there is Section 340, 120B, and 376D, for which Suni is found guilty. 376D is gang rape. That is the maximum punishment which Suni will get. The sentencing, of course, may come tomorrow or day after. Now, for 376D, the punishment shall not be less than 20 years, but it may extend to life imprisonment. So that's the whole point. For Suni, it is gang rape for which he is found guilty. The man who did the crime has been found guilty, but unfortunately, the conspiracy has not been proven. It is a sad day for the survivor. It is a sad day for all those people who stood with her, especially the prosecution and the police. Whenever you speak to her, you will know that she's always been at least thankful that there's been a circle of people who stood with her, including the prosecution and the police. It is a day of big, of big disappointment for them. I'm not able to find words to really describe this.
Then
But
if
to
I
me,
could just come, what remains unanswered here is that there is no conspiracy, at least the conspiracy part has not been proven. So why did the crime take place? Because now it has been established, because accused number 1 to 6 have been convicted. So the sexual assault, the kidnapping has happened. Why did it happen? There is no motive that we understand, because Pulsar Suni and the survivor did not have any direct connection or any animosity between them. That is a very crucial bit of this entire thing that remains unanswered, with Dileep getting acquitted, isn't it?
yeah, and see, most of these answers we won't even get now, Pooja, because today is December 8th. I mean, it is quite ironical, right? 8th accused, December 8th is the verdict. And on December 8th, the 8th accused has been acquitted. But to understand why the acquittal has happened, we need to get the judgment. And normally the judgment will come only after the quantum of punishment is declared. The quantum of punishment is going to be declared only on the 12th of December. Can we please have Azifa back online? I want to talk to her about the conspiracy angle itself. But for me, there are 2 or 3 things remaining. One is that, so there is no conspiracy angle proved against Dileep. That does not mean that nobody did the conspiracy, right? It was Pulsar Suni himself who told the survivor that I am here on a quotation. Quotation in colloquial Malayalam just means that somebody has given him a contract to do the sexual assault. So that means that Suni was on somebody's quotation, Suni was on somebody's contract. If it could not be proved against Dileep, then what? I also want to say at this point of time that we will be releasing a story later in the day, which will bring you some perspective of the case itself. We've been waiting for the verdict to come and then to put that story out. But it is a very, very disappointing verdict. But like I was telling Pooja, to understand this verdict and to really analyze it, we'll have to now wait for the 12th of December, because that is when the judgment will come. If Azifa is back online, I will want to ask her about conspiracy itself. So normally what we have seen is that in, for example, the case of Kausalya and Shankar, where Shankar was hacked to death in Tamil Nadu, there was it was a lower court which punished everybody for conspiracy, including her father. But when it came to the High Court said there is not enough evidence to prove the conspiracy. But here the lower court itself has absolved Dileep of conspiracy, which means that lower court was not convinced about the motive. It was not convinced about the fact that Dileep was in touch with Pulsar Suni, nor was it convinced that any money was given. But the most important point is that there is a man who came to court and said he has seen both these people together. How has the court said no to Balachandra Kumar? I was talking to somebody in the prosecution the other day, and they told me that the only way they can say no to Balachandra Kumar as a piece of evidence is by rejecting him, saying that he came very late into the picture. Lakshmi, Balachandra Kumar came only in 2021 end, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, he has spoken about this very openly. We have actually covered this extensively in Nidhi Suresh's first article that we did, An Orchestrated Nightmare, where Balachandra Kumar speaks to Nidhi about why that delay happened, which is that he was about to do a film with Dilip, which was supposed to be a big break for him, which never panned out. There were instances where he had, regretted delaying the whole talking about this thing, and eventually he realized that that film was never going to happen, and that the cases unfolded in this way. So he eventually ended up talking to Dilip. So what Balachandra Kumar said is, before all of this happened, in 2017 I think, he had visited Padma Sarovar, which is Dilip's house in Alwa, where he met, this was after his housewarming I think, where he met Palsa Suni for the first time. He left in a car afterwards. Somebody related to Dilip was supposed to drop him off, and there was this young person who was sitting inside the car with him, was what he alleged. So he was introduced to Palsa Suni at that point. He also alleges that he saw Suni holding a packet of whatever, which is assumed to be a set of notes, is the theory. This is Balachandra Kumar's statement. So what he says is that whoever was with him introduced him to Palsa Suni, saying this was why he was named Palsa Suni, which is a local petty crime associated with him. And Balachandra Kumar distinctly recalls saying, "Oh, that sounds like Ben's was." This was his statement specifically. So this was the first instance in which Palsa Suni and Balachandra Kumar met. Later, he goes on to say that after all of the case and the crime, etc., went off, happened, he once again went to Dilip's place. He sat with him, on the side of a discussion that was going on. And, he listened to Dilip and Anup, Dilip's brother, and others who were in the room, talk about, talk about the visuals that is purportedly, was shot in with the survivor in the car, is what the theory is. And that's when he recorded the said statements that he has since spoken about. Yeah.
Okay, so we are looking at visuals of Dilip coming out of the court, looking very jubilant. I'm going to also ask Azifa to join me here. So Dilip is looking happy. He's waving to the crowd. He's clad in a white shirt. I think he's preparing to speak to the media now. People are surrounding him, taking selfies. These are visuals that I see. Obviously, a big day of celebration for Dilip. And like I said, there is a man that he has to be thankful to, which is Raman Pillai, the senior advocate. We will put a profile of Raman Pillai and how he sort of steered this entire case in favor of Dilip. Azifa is joining us now. Azifa, can you explain to us the sections in which Palsa Suni and the others have been found guilty?
Yes. So, it's muted.
Make a sense.
So the prime accused Palsa Suni, he is accused, he's convicted under 120B, which is criminal conspiracy, then 109 IPC, which is abetment of any offense, 366, which is kidnapping or abducting a woman to compel sexual intercourse, and 354 is sexual assault, 354B is use of criminal force on women with intention to disrobe her, 357 is use of criminal force to wrongfully confine a person, 376D, which is the most important section in this, is gang rape, and 201, which is causing disappearance of evidence, 212 is harboring an offender, and 34 is acts done with common intention. While this is the conviction of Palsa Suni, the prime accused, A2 to A6, which is Martin Anthony, Manigandan, Vijesh, Salim, and Pradeep, they have been booked under 120B, which is again punishment for criminal conspiracy. 340 is wrongful confinement. 354 is assault of criminal force to a woman with intent to outrage her modesty. 366 is kidnapping or abducting a woman.
354B again is assault or criminal force with an intent to disrobe a woman. 376D is gang rape, and 66A, which is IT Act. This is the act which pertains to digital evidence in this case, which is the visuals. So these are the conviction of A2 to A6, and 8, 9, and 10 have been acquitted. Then
Okay, so we are also hearing that Dilip is now talking to the media right now. He's starting to talk to the media outside the court. He's in a celebratory mood. He's been waving to the crowd, taking selfies with people. Well, I mean, somebody has actually sent me a message saying that Hasani's killer was acquitted a few days ago. So this is not surprising at all. Of course, these are disappointing things for the survivor and the prosecution, and for a lot of people who stood with them. But I know for sure that they are determined that they will take this to the High Court, they will take the Supreme Court. They've maintained from the beginning that in other courts, that is not in the District and Sessions Court, in other courts, they will get justice. So they are prepared to go to the High Court and the Supreme Court. I think he is talking to the media right now.
As we wait, Tanya, for our reporters to tell us what Dilip is saying in this first statement, here's a quick reminder that more often than not, when verdicts like these are pronounced, it is more of a reflection of the evidence and the witnesses and how it all came together, rather than the absolute truth about if a person is guilty or not. We've seen this time and again. That's some context that we'd like to keep in mind. But Danya, if I could just come to you while we wait for Dilip's statement to be put up. The chain of custody of the digital evidence played a very crucial role in this. Can you quickly tell us how that could have played into the acquittal of Dilip, and how that in itself was very controversial because it was accessed by multiple people?
Pooja, it's a very, very confident Dilip that we are seeing outside the court today. He's actually saying that the police have police really started a kallakada, which is a fake story, a wrong story. And he said they created this entire fake narrative, and they had a few media people who really propagated this fake story. And today in the court, that fake story has fallen apart, is what Dilip is saying. He's saying the real conspiracy was to trap him, to destroy his career and his image. Everything Dilip says was done to destroy his career and image. That a group of policemen was planning to really bring down his career. Kallak Kadha. That is going to be the headline for tomorrow. Dilip says the entire conspiracy against him was the kallakada of a few policemen and of media who supported these police people. It's the body language is really to be seen. It's a very confident Dilip. All these days, we have seen that Dilip not wanting to talk about the case, or talking in a sort of hushed tone, saying that I have suffered all these years, but I will come out of it. But today you see really a very different version of Dilip outside the court, confident, saying that crores of people have prayed for me, and that is why I have now come out. He says, I have lifelong gratitude to Raman Pillai. Like we have been saying, senior lawyer Raman Pillai is the man that people should read about today, because this is the lawyer who got out Dilip. We'll quickly be publishing a story about Raman Pillai, his profile, done by my colleagues Maria Teresa Raju and Bharat Nayak. In that, you will understand how this is the man who takes up many cases of celebrities, which could be a businessman, which could be an actor, or which could be somebody like Bishop Franco. And then, though he does not win a lot of the cases, he has tasted success in some very crucial ones. Here too, he followed that very, playbook in court, where he would question people for many, many days, including the investigator itself. Like Dilip is saying, Dilip is now pointing fingers at the police itself. He's saying the police started a fake story. We saw that play out in court too. Baiju Paulos, a current DYSP who was in charge of the special investigation team, was made the villain in court, and Raman Pillai questioned him for almost 80 days, right? Azifa will join to explain that. I'll tell you what Dilip has been saying. He's saying he's grateful to the many people who supported him over these 9 years. He has lifelong gratitude to Raman Pillai, and that all this was done to destroy his career and image. So before I wrap up, we'll get you more reactions, of course. But as of now, most people are going to tell us that they will want the verdict, the judgment to come, the copy of the judgment to react. But Azifa, tell us, Dilip is saying he has lifelong, what is it, gratitude to Raman Pillai. What does he mean?
So in the court, like we saw by the transcripts and everything, in the court, the main point that Raman Pillai was trying to make, senior advocate B. Raman Pillai, yeah. So the point that he was trying to make, the primarily about the visuals and the memory card, is that it was not illegally accessed by anybody else other than the police team. That was what the entire questioning, a major part of the questioning showed us. And Raman Pillai was also insistent on breaking down the investigator and then trying to make him say something, which is also part of the defense strategy, right? And then it was like he was trying to insinuate that this whole murkier picture was completely built by the investigation team, and there was no connection, there was no conspiracy, there was nothing. After the crime occurred, it was the police who brought in Dilip inside. That was the kind of story that Raman Pillai tried to prove in the court, and he was also again and again trying to prove that there was no conspiracy at all, that Dilip was in no way involved in the entire episode. And the story would be out soon.
Yeah, so the first story that we'll put out today is, of course, Raman Pillai, the man who made sure that Dilip came out. Then we will have a profile of Judge Hani Varghese. That's again a very important story, because from the beginning, and I can tell you the attention will now turn to the judge. Both the survivor and her prosecution will turn their attention on the judge, because there are two things which are unresolved here. The first is that they've been continuously saying that they do not believe justice will be done in the court of Judge Hani Varghese. How will they take this forward? That is number one. Number two, we know for sure that the memory card in which the sexual assault was captured had been accessed thrice illegally from the court and once from the court of Judge Hani Varghese. She was aware of this. She had a report from a forensic lab, but she did not disclose this to the prosecution and the police. So after many years of acrimonious trial, after many years of the prosecution saying that they did not have any belief in the judge, it has now come to the D-Day where the judge has finally said that the prosecution has been unable to prove that actor Dilip was involved in the conspiracy of the Kerala actor sexual assault. So who was behind the conspiracy? We do not know. Why has Dilip been absolved? We do not know. We'll have to wait for the copy of the judgment. But as of now, only the six men, Palsa Suni and his five henchmen who were there at the site of the crime, have been punished. It is a day of great disappointment for the survivor, for all those who stood with her, and for the prosecution and the police. How will they take it forward? We will keep giving you updates. But remember, for weeks, we at the News Minute have been preparing these stories so that you will understand how this case has panned out, what has happened in court, outside court. Do log into those stories, do read. And thank you very much for joining us, and we'll keep coming back to you with more updates.